Is this the soft benching they've been talking about? What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us here on this very somber Monday night Vikings Packers game review from from yesterday. Lot to get into here. Obviously, the A topic being the quarterback position. I know some people don't want to talk about the quarterback, but we're going to talk about the quarterback. I guess starting off with the big news of the day. Him being in the concussion protocol. Now, the joke's going around. Is this the actual soft benching? Probably not. I mean, concussions, you probably don't really mess around with those. But at the end of the day, I mean, Max Brosmer is going to get some first-team reps. And, yeah, I mean, look, coming off this last game where this is the worst he's looked all year long. This team was unable to move the ball because of that. It's just, man, It was a frustrating game. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the Packers. It's the Packers on the road at Lambeau, and you go embarrass yourselves like that. And look, healthy or not healthy, I don't think even the most staunch JJ McCarthy hater could have seen it going this bad 6 games into his career. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I mean, a ton of blame to go around. I mean, we're not going to sit here and put it all on his shoulders. Kevin O'Connell hasn't put him in all the best situations. But at the same time, when there have been throws to be made, he has just not made those throws. So ton of blame to go around. I mean, front office on down for a lot of the signings that were made that just aren't working out. But at the end of the day, the big A topic here is that the quarterback that we came into the season with, hoping that, he'd make us look good for moving on from some of those other quarterbacks that we had, has not lived up to the billing, not even close. So where do you go from here? I mean, we'll kind of see how this week plays out with the concussion and kind of where things go from here. But I mean, at the end of the day, the one thing we can all agree on is that he just has not been good enough. And now it's getting to the point where, look, that was the one selling point to me on JJ McCarthy, is that he has the winner mentality and the confidence and all that, to where if things did get shaky, he could push through. I don't see that. He looks simply, and look, there's some Twitter accounts out there that I hate to have to agree with, but last week there was one that said he looks lost out there, and I didn't agree in that Bears game. I didn't think he looked lost completely in that Bears game, but this is the first time I will say he looks out there. He looks like he's playing scared. He's out there trying his best to just operate the offense, but at the end of the day, he does not look like he's ready to be an NFL quarterback, and that's plain as. I mean, look, the highs are there. And Kevin O'Connell says that he looks good in practice. But you know who looks good in practice and makes a couple nice throws in a game? Backup quarterbacks. So I don't know. I'm still not completely out on him, but it's not what we've seen so far and what we saw yesterday being the most recent example. It ain't looking good.
Yeah, I will pull back a little bit and just say, I mean, again, you're talking about 6 career starts, 22 years old, youngest starting quarterback in the NFL, which is the reason why I'm not out on him. And I would say, the whole winner mentality thing, that was definitely shown. No matter, I don't care how anybody wants to put it, what he did at the end of the game with Chicago and the Lions, and even last week against the Bears when it did matter, even if you played mostly bad, that shows to me that he does have some of that stuff. The problem is that scares me is just the confidence dwindling here these last 2 weeks, because before I thought people were I thought people were over exaggerating. I thought people were being unfair to JJ McCarthy based off of, he was missing throws, but he was still out there stepping up when it really mattered, things like that, which I thought was fine. In my mind, when it came to JJ McCarthy, it was know what? He can miss some throws, whatever, just he can let him play his game. When the pocket's crashing on him, he'll escape the pocket, escape the pocket, throw on the run, things like that. Made some of those throws, missed some of the throws, fair. It was but as long as he's playing his game, you see the highs from him. And it was kind of let's just see some of the accuracy progress throughout this season. But the problem is these last 2 games is he hasn't been playing like that at all. He's still missing throws. And things like that in this last game specifically was passing up throws and things like that, where before it was like that wasn't the problem. Passing up throws wasn't the problem. That was the opposite problem. It was like he was going to throw long when you shouldn't have, type of thing, or whatever, or throw, there's a guy in his face, like all these different things. The problem now, though, to me, is these last two games, it just feels like he's lost a lot of confidence, especially last one, because I know we started that game, he completed a bunch of like, what was he, like 7 or 8 for 11 or 7 for 11 or 9 for 13 or whatever. He was making passes. We're like, okay, Kevin O'Connell, you're coming out here and you're having him just complete some passes. Great, whatever. And then as the game went on, it kind of felt more like JJ McCarthy was more being gun shy than the fact that we were actually like planning that, to the point where he, well, like I mentioned before, he was passing up throws to wide open throws to Justin Jefferson, to Jordan Addison, all these things. And then, you know, even last week against the Bears, when he stepped up to take a lead in the game, when there was a chance for that to happen, well, not really for that to happen, but a chance for us to like get back in the game. And JJ McCarthy starts throwing deeper. All of a sudden we're getting 2 interceptions again. So it's just like overall, like it's just the regression every single week since that Lions game, all the way to the point where it just feels like he's not confident anymore. And that's what scares me, because he seems at the very least someone confident. Guys like Josh Allen, when he was a rookie, yeah, he didn't play very well. But guess what? He was still fucking trying to sling the ball out there. And that was the big difference between like Josh Allen. Like the confidence never really wavered for him. He just kept playing his game, even if it sucked. And with JJ McCarthy, that's kind of what I was expecting, with hopefully some progression there. And that is just not what happened. I'm not out on him, I'm not out on him. I think he's young, whatever. There's Bryce Young. They did that thing with him where they benched him or whatever and gave him time, and now he's come back and looking better for sure. I think JJ McCarthy is the youngest starter in the NFL. He has all the tools. I think that mentality is still there. But I think me and you have came to the conclusion that even though we thought that JJ McCarthy should be getting reps, at the very least, we need to give him reps so we know what we have in him. Seeing this drop in confidence the way we have makes you feel like the more reps he's getting, that is going to increasingly make him less and less confident, will just make things worse for him and the future of his career. So we were kind of coming in here with that thought of maybe JJ McCarthy should actually be benched. And, you know, obviously the reports came out, like you said, concussion protocol, Max Brosmer, there's a good chance that he ends up starting this week. And that does kind of feel like it could be a soft benching. And I don't know if it is or not. Nobody will really know. But the reality is, best case scenario, I think, is if we pulled off a soft benching instead of, I guess you would call it a hard benching, where, you know, Max Brosmer comes in, he just looks more ready right now, and then you leave JJ McCarthy on the sideline or whatever. But I'm with you as far as, like, I don't think anybody was thinking that he was going to come in here and kind of crash down the way he has so far, to the point where, you know, it's getting historically bad, which is obviously really disappointing. But yeah, anyways, that's a lot. Let me do some shout outs here. I see my guy down here right away. Smokey in the building. Guys, respectfully, I don't want to hear McCarthy cope. He's concussion protocol now. The bum can't stay healthy. Fire Quasi. I blame him, not KOC. Appreciate the 20. He's absolutely trashed, like Tim Tebow and Jamarcus Russell. And
it is Jamarcus Russell. It is getting down towards Jamarcus
McCarthy.
Russell.
He needs to go back high school. Happy feet. I've literally seen bums play better than JJ. So yeah, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, not looking good. Not looking good. I'm like, I'm not completely out on him or anything like that, but the confidence dwindling scares me, because I thought, in my mind, I'm like, that's what he has, is confidence. Let me do some more shout outs here and I'll throw it back to you. T-Bass in here right away. JJ Messine is going to be out. Let's talk about something else. That'd be crazy. I mean, a Vikings podcast where you just tiptoe around JJ McCarthy would be wild at this point. What's going on, Nick, in the building? This team is a real asshole and it's at the point. Can't find any type of way to defend McCarthy. Yeah, you can't defend him. You can't defend him. His confidence is, other than that, the only defending is that he is young and all this kind of stuff, and maybe he could progress. The reality is, we need somebody now. We don't really have time.
And to me, that's the biggest thing, right? Like, look, because you're fine being patient if he shows progress, but to this point, the fact that he's regressing, like that is now if you're ownership, then you got to now you're looking at everybody. You're looking at Kwesi, you're looking at his staff, you're looking at Kevin O'Connell. Like, we had a couple good quarterbacks in the building, right? You passed up on them to sign some free agents, and those free agents aren't working out right now. So what exactly are we doing here? Like, because look, the whole plan, maybe this year was going to be a step back, but we were hoping to see progression and be able to go into 2026 thinking like, hey, JJ McCarthy, at least show progression. We know he's our guy.
Right.
Now we're not seeing any of that. And now you're going in with an expensive roster next year. It's some decisions to be made. And now you're not going to know who your quarterback is. Like, that to me is the most frustrating part of this. Like, this team has had a year to develop with him and hopefully still win some games, maybe sneak into the playoffs. But now the fact that he's not developing makes this year feel like a complete waste. So now what? Now we got to go into the offseason so he can work on his mechanics to maybe do what we want to do this year, next year, and then you're another year into all these contracts. That's the most frustrating part about all this. And that's why I said even the most staunch JJ hater could not have seen it going this poorly. And now it's looking like the whole development plan is being pushed back a whole nother year. And there's no time for that, right? Like, this team was one of those where it's like you needed him to start to look the part this year, and we're not seeing that. And now you're seeing the panic in the fan base. And this last game is really the one that's just like, it kind of drives it home. Like, yeah, you can build a team off free agents if your quarterback works out, but if it doesn't, then what are we doing?
Yeah.
And that is where ownership, front office, or that's where the ownership could really be scratching their heads going into this offseason. So it just ain't good. No way you can look at it. It's not good.
No, it's bad. And appreciate the another 20 hits. I could literally anyone played football, he's trash. He's trash. That's basically what it is. Let me do some more shout outs here though. We got Sodak, my guy Sodak, man. It's been a minute, dude. Welcome in. Gary, our guy. Gary in the building. Bob Sweet, I see you. Dan, what's going on, Dan? Welcome in. Must be insane. Our guy is back. JJ ain't winning no damn Super Bowl. Unfortunate, but that's the reality of how it's been going with the constant injuries he made. And I saw the delusional thing. And that's the thing is like, I'm not nearly as confident, obviously, not even close as far as him being the franchise quarterback. But at the same time, I'm also not in the camp of like, oh, he's like fucked forever. But hey, it's definitely could be a good chance at this point. But I mean, one thing for sure is he definitely doesn't look ready right now. Who else we got in here? Let's see.
And that's the most frustrating part of this. Like obviously coaching, and look, you know me, Kevin O'Connell guy. I don't like, but some blame has to go to him here. Like, and that's where people are really going to start looking like, well, why? If Kevin O'Connell is this quarterback genius, how did you not know that the mechanics were going to be this wonky when he started, like when the season started, right? Like, I don't know. It's just,
hey, we still haven't seen Max. Chill out. We haven't seen Max Brosmer. He could be everything we want.
Look, the Max Brosmer thing is going to be kind of fun. I was a Gopher fan. I love Max Brosmer. I think for sure at the bottom line, I think he could be a long-term backup quarterback. I think he's going to come in and run this offense better than McCarthy. I think he's got a quicker release. I think he's older, smarter. He's able to read defenses better. But again, I'm not going into this thinking he's going to light the world on fire, right?
Like, no, you can't do that.
I think he could come in, play the game well. I still think we lose to Seattle pretty handily. It's a great defense, and Sam Darnold's got some revenge game on his mind here. But I don't know. I think that Max Brosmer is going to come in and make us look better than we did with JJ McCarthy in there. And if that happens, it happens. But it's just going to lead to more and more questions. I don't know, man. It's
just coming back to Brosmer in a second here, but just everything like the Kwesi thing. Obviously, if JJ McCarthy becomes the bust that he is, so if this is it for JJ McCarthy. And, maybe he doesn't come back. I don't even know. Maybe he does come back. At this point, it feels like a soft benching, but maybe they let him come back next year. He doesn't progress, whatever, it's a bust. At that point, it's hard to argue for Kwesi for missing draft picks. And obviously, if you miss a top 10 quarterback, that's going to pretty much hurt anybody. So I can't really disagree. A lot does rely on JJ McCarthy. I guess unless, we when it came to the 49ers, I think Brock Purdy saved a lot of asses over there.
Yeah, for sure.
So Brosmer,
if Purdy wasn't good, then yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
they would have been.
Lynch and
It would have
Shanahan
been.
would have been out of it for sure.
But we need to accept that Justin Jefferson. I don't know. I'm not like quite there yet. I do think this year's been bad.
It's starting though.
But
his comments yesterday were definitely a huge turning point. With I come out here, say the same thing every week and expecting it to change, and it just doesn't.
Yeah, I think this year's obviously fucked. But there's still talent on this roster. There's still talent for the next couple of years, whatever. Obviously, we had a shot at Aaron Rodgers last offseason. I don't know. I'm not like that's all saying that is except Jefferson is going to want to trade means that you are completely out for the next 2 seasons. I am definitely not there yet. I think Kwesi and KOC have no fucking choice to do whatever they can to make this team good the next 2 seasons. And maybe that won't happen because of the JJ McCarthy, you put a lot in that thing or whatever. But I'm not quite at the spot where like all of that's going to happen. Because I still think at the end, I obviously we wanted to be competitive, but I still think this year was supposed to be about the progression of JJ McCarthy.
Right. And but that's like the big point though. If you're not seeing that progression of JJ McCarthy, then that's where you see exactly what's happening now, where the media is in an uproar, the fan base is fed up, which again is 100% fair. Because look, it's hard to sell moving on from a quarterback that won you 14 games to go with an unproven rookie coming off an injury. And it's even harder to sell that when the season goes the way it is now, where you're not even seeing the slightest bit of progression. Like
right,
that's what's making this whole thing that much.
I get it. I get the people being mad. I get all of that stuff. Young Smokey is not evident author mad. Yeah, no, I get it. I get why the McCarthy thing sucks. I get it. All that shit. I'm personally not ready just to act like it's time to blow up the entire organization and the whole plan that we had, all based on JJ McCarthy. I get why people are saying that. And I get it. I'm actually kind of surprised I'm kind of surprised Casey is coming in here with that attitude even. But that's not where I'm at in this. And I get it. Like JJ McCarthy, obviously not good. And I don't know what's going to happen in the rest of the season and the progression and all that stuff. It could tank. I'm not out on the fact that I always thought if JJ McCarthy sucked, I wasn't completely out that we couldn't go into this offseason. Like my whole thing is JJ doesn't work out this year. You go in the offseason, you go get yourself a vet. I know the Mac Jones out there and other things like that because you still have tons of talent on this team on contract. So I don't know. For this part of the year, I get it.
You're on one tonight. I love it.
Yeah. Smokey's just brought Casey a new blow up doll.
You are on one, man. I love it.
You did. Hey, appreciate you so much, Smokey. And Gary, fire the scouting department, the O-line, and all this up. It does.
Someone does need to be fired pretty quick here. I mean, it's getting.
Oh yeah, Casey's on team fire people.
I mean, I kind of am. I mean, Matt Daniels has fucked up 2 weeks in a row. I'm done with special teams. Get him out of here. Offensive line coach should have been fired freaking weeks ago. Like, ugh.
And I'm not. Our boy Dunn. I don't know. I do think it's not good. I'm not ready to just act like he's never like no matter what he can't be good or whatever.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying like in order for fans to look.
I agree with everything. Yeah. I'm just saying like to come and be like, oh, I don't get how to me, it's just 6 games in a guy's career to automatically call him a bust forever when Sam Darnold is where he's at right now.
But the worst part of this whole thing for me, right, is I was one of those guys that I thought McCarthy game manager coming into college. Like I didn't watch a lot of his games.
It could take a miracle.
And then I did watch him. I thought he looked confident in college, standing in the pocket. The footwork looked good there. But as it got into the league here, it's just then he gets hurt and you're just not seeing him develop within this offense. And that's like, to me, that's just the most frustrating part of all of this, right? Like a lot of the things you heard about from the people that didn't want him, you're seeing a lot of that now. And then I don't want to go in talking about, because I know people talk about Mac Jones. Well, to get Mac Jones, you'd have to trade. And if you invest more draft capital in a quarterback this offseason, then that really brings ownership to what are we doing here? Like,
well, you don't have a choice. They don't have a choice.
Mac Jones is going to cost a day one. If you spend a day 1 or 2 pick, then everyone should go. Because if you made the choice to go with this young guy and now you're going to spend more draft capital on a quarterback, that is unacceptable to me. If it's
well, that's unacceptable,
day
but
three,
you're
fine.
already in the hot seat.
Right, but I don't know. I just think if we're at the point where we're trading picks or drafting another quarterback, like day 3, fine, whatever, take a flyer on a guy late, that's cool. But like trading high, like 1 through 4 round draft picks for another quarterback or drafting one in the first 2 days, to me, shows that you are folding on JJ McCarthy, which then the ownership should have questions. Like, then what were we doing we let Sam Darnold go so we could spend the money on free agents? And guess what? Every free agent we brought in is underperformed.
Right.
So, but that's the problem with Kwesi too. Like, you're starting to see the cracks in his. We've been talking about him being unable to draft for years.
Right.
But it's just like, I don't know, man. It's,
yeah,
it's I don't know. It's frustrating.
No, it is frustrating. I think
ownership is not shit. Like, that to me, I will never agree with. I think the Wilfs. I mean, you obviously have not seen the Twins owners. At least the Wilfs, if someone comes to them and say, "Hey, we think this is what we need to do to build this team," they're going to let you do what you want to do. So saying that the Wilfs are bad owners, to me is I don't agree with it. I think it's a little bit ridiculous. But
I think in my opinion, I just think, like, no matter what, these guys are on their hot. Like Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell, I'll stick to it. Like, I think all their plan was based around the next 2 years after this one. They're on the hot seat right now. Like, if Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi think they need some sort of quarterback to keep their job, I think they're going to make a trade if they need to. I think they'll do whatever they need to. Hopefully it's just Max Brosmer, but obviously we're being super hopeful here. I like, they're on the hot seat already. Like, I don't think trading picks, of course, I understand what you're saying. Like, if JJ McCarthy, if they last that long into the next year's draft, they would need to do whatever they can to make sure that this team can win if they want to keep their jobs anyways. And of course they're going to do what they think needs to be done in order for that to happen, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, it's frustrating.
Appreciate you, young Smokey, dude.
I think obviously everyone was thinking we'd see a little bit more out of JJ McCarthy than we have right now. And if it does get to the point where, like, his mechanics are so bad, that's frustrating. And then just the thing with him too, like, look, I think this whole thing could be good for him. Take a step back, get out of the spotlight. But when you want to talk about all the hate he's been getting, a ton of it is self-inflicted, right? Like, I think he needs some PR training to not talk so much in his press conferences. Like, the cork about to pop, going out there saying, like, "Oh yeah, I hear the noise and I'm not going to lie, it affects me." And going out and saying stuff like, "Oh, rewiring neurological pathways." Like, it's obvious he's thinking too much about other things on the football field, not focused on the play. Like, is Kevin O'Connell putting him in good spots all the time? Absolutely not. But again, when he is, there's plays to be made, and he's just, as Delton said a couple weeks ago, he is too slow getting to that play. And then at that point, it's already too late to make the throw. And he's
right. It's been like that right now.
Exactly. And but that's, you don't want to see that 6 starts in. You hope to see that start 1, 2. Better as it goes.
Yeah,
it's going absolutely in reverse. And it's showing all the flaws that this team has.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is like, I don't know.
That's the most frustrating.
I don't know if this, like, I don't really know. This is such a weird situation because, yeah, I think his lease is short to the point where Brosmer starting this week. And if Brosmer looks better than JJ McCarthy, I can definitely see McCarthy not coming back. But if they both suck, I don't know what they'll do. I don't know what they'll do. And the season that you're probably not making playoffs anyway. So I have no idea how this is going to roll out. But I don't think JJ McCarthy, there's a chance that JJ McCarthy will play again this year. And even if I don't believe that is the case, and at this point, I don't think it is the case. I think his confidence is shot. And I think that he does, if there is any hope for him to progress or anything like that, it was this confidence that you can't let go. And playing him is only going to destroy that more. Bryce Young, everyone, I know for a fact, every fucking Panthers fan base at this point, we're saying the same thing about Bryce Young. And now he threw for 450 yards. And I'm still not I think Bryce Young still has a long way to go himself. I'm not calling him a great quarterback or anything like that. But I'm not the type of person, I can't just be like 6 starts in his career and he's automatically fucked. When, I get it. He has mechanical issues, to be fair. And I'm making excuses for him. I'm more making excuses for him from a standpoint where he's not absolutely fucked forever. But as far as where he's at this year and being a disappointment, and as far as our timeline goes, it's not looking good whatsoever. But I do think that, his mechanical issues, they completely did change all his mechanics. They did all of that kind of stuff. He had an injury. He has multiple injuries, which is also a negative. All these different things, I do think it makes it tough for any other quarterback. And that's kind of where it comes on Kevin O'Connell. If you completely changed his mechanics and it's obvious that those mechanics aren't second nature, then you should have known that he isn't ready to start yet. And I do think that part has to be on Kevin O'Connell. The problem was you picked him top 10. He missed an entire year, and you kind of have to, you are kind of forced to put him in there and find that out. And that's the case. And I mean, JJ McCarthy can be completely fucked, but I do think he is also in a tough situation as well.
Yeah. I don't know. And it's just the whole thing is just an absolute, and again, we're not like, you can't put it all on him. There's a fair share of blame to go around to pretty much everybody, front office on down. But
appreciate you again though. Do you want me to be honest? It wasn't good. Son was born in season. He's not locked in, missed too many practices. There's a lot of things, but that's what I'm saying. Like, obviously these are excuses. No matter what, I'm not trying like defend JJ McCarthy and how he's played right now. His lack of confidence was something I wasn't thinking I was going to see. But I also do want to give this kid, like, you're talking, like, that's why I'm saying, like, I don't think, like, when people say he's like automatically fucked forever, I do think there's a lot of things that have happened for him to be in the situation he is right now. That a lot of like just the injury, the changing mechanics, like there's a lot of shit that happens as far as like that can still be fixed. Maybe not, but it's possible.
The most frustrating thing is we have to go into this off season.
Yeah, I know. And
worrying about even be mechanics.
Right.
And questioning whether we even have the right guy going into next year, which again is the most frustrating part, because it's another year into the career of Justin Jefferson, who's been patient and been saying the right things through all of this. If things don't start getting better, it's going to be, look, it's a noisy season already. A lot of noise surrounding this team and the quarterback. It's only going to get worse as time goes on. And as we said, look, not all just on the quarterback. Let's go talk about the coach. We've seen a lot of comments about Kevin O'Connell here as well. And look, the play calling this year, it feels the most off that it has in his entire career here, right? Like, we've known that he's been pass heavy all the time since he's been here, but this season has just felt like he's tried 3 different forms of his offense. And he said it himself today in his press conference that they were going to be a little more conservative, he called the game more conservative yesterday, which again shows me, like, JJ McCarthy's lost confidence in himself. Has Kevin O'Connell lost confidence in JJ McCarthy? And I think I saw must say earlier that it's almost like, and that is one thing I will say about O'Connell, he tries to square peg round hole guys. Like, he didn't come into this season and craft a game plan for JJ McCarthy. It was more of, JJ, you're playing my game, and it's just not working.
Right.
And that is one thing I will say. He has shown the unwillingness to develop, right? And people are talking, and he's talking about wanting to run the ball more, which he did first half this last game. Early on, though, we get down to their 34-yard line, 3 passes in a row. And the second one, he's like, oh, yeah, we had a run play, and McCarthy checked it into that screen pass. So, A, you're kind of scapegoating your quarterback in that. But, B, why is that option even there then? Like, if you're trying to be conservative and running the ball is working and you want to run on second down, why even give your quarterback the option to check into a pass play if he wants it? Like, it's just, he hasn't put him in good spots. And I still love Kevin O'Connell. I think he's a great leader of men. I still think he's a good offensive mind. I think I saw someone say something about arrogance. There might be a little bit of arrogance there. Like, oh, I can make this quarterback work for my offense. Okay. Guess what? It hasn't worked. And he's just like, I know back with the Josh Dobbs year, people were upset he didn't put the offense around Josh Dobbs. Tough to do that midseason, but you had all offseason to be like, hey, in case he can't play my offense, I need to do something else with him here. And we just haven't seen that. And that's unwillingness or inability to adjust. And so, yeah, I mean, a lot of this does have to go on O'Connell. And I didn't come in here expecting to be this fiery on both these guys who I've tried to defend all season long, but eventually it does become almost indefensible. And you're not putting this guy in the best situation to succeed. And like, conservative running the ball and just doing straight drop back passing and not letting him just play, that's not going to help him at all either. So I don't know. The entire thing is a mess, man. It's just
so mock drafts. Yeah, let's get that mock drafts going. Top 10 pick, Jeremiah Love. OG or okay, reality. Our team sucks this year. Why you think it to be true? So Gary just wants us to be as real as possible. So I'll start with, I know we mentioned before with JJ McCarthy. The reality, my reality with him is I banked a lot in my head on this kid's mentality. And he did show that at times. And I thought his accuracy being as bad as it is and has been was something I wasn't expecting to see to the extent that it is. And for me right now, seeing him, like when I say mentality, I think I kind of dumped the confidence with that. Seeing that go out the window these last couple of weeks definitely makes me concerned, especially this year. But also being completely honest, it doesn't make me think that this kid can't ever be good quarterback in the NFL. I just don't know how you can say 6 games and he's automatically fucked when there has been some bright spots. But at the same time, I also understand why people say that at this point. But that's just my opinion on JJ McCarthy in general. And obviously, when it comes to just other, and that's ultimately the reason why we suck. I mean, I think on everything, like Carson Wentz came in and he fucking sucked too. Like all the quarterbacks sucked. I think the reason why we suck is because of the quarterback play. I like there's more than enough talent. The offensive line hasn't been as good as we hoped it would be. Honestly, that's another one. But I would say that the overall, the quarterback's been the biggest situation. You still have Justin Jefferson. You still have Jordan Addison. Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason, they're good. They're definitely will work good enough on that offense. The defense has stepped up. And when it comes to the defense, I know people are saying stuff about Flores and, we can't cover. I'll say going into the season, the whole we have enough cornerbacks and all that was complete bullshit. And I don't get that part of things. And I think that is a big problem still. But I also think that this team is just down. I think the fire for this defense is just not there. And rightfully so, because the offense ain't doing shit to help. The special teams is causing problems, all those kinds of things. But the reality is, I think you banked everything on a quarterback, which was the big question mark. And unfortunately, it's turning into worst case scenario. And that's how important a quarterback is for the NFL.
Then I'm gonna go. My thing is depth, because a lot of people talked about the injuries this year. Do you know how you avoid taking a huge step back when there's injuries? Draft and develop. You know what the team hasn't done? Draft and develop. And look, that's on Kwesi. That's on Grigson. That's on, because look, if Alec Lewis said it, if the coaching staff has that much influence, has that much influence on how the draft goes, then you got to blame it on Kevin O'Connell, Brian Flores as well. It's just, to me, the main reason why we suck is, yes, of course, the quarterback hasn't worked out. But guess what? We had people thought a worse roster on paper last year, and that team won 14 games, right? But this year, we have a better roster. Quarterback isn't working, but injuries. And then no depth. So to me, look, I tried to defend Kwesi for as long as I could. It's fine when you're winning. But when you start losing like this, and you realize the main reason you're losing is because you're not hitting on depth pieces.
Right.
That's, to me, that's an out. And that's where this whole thing started, was because we blamed injuries for the first 2 months of the season because we didn't have competent backup players. So to me, it's a depth issue and a quarterback problem, which again goes back to your offense, which again goes back to coaching.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of things. If we make playoffs this year, I'll buy you a $2,000 hooker for you, and you're.
Is that a lot? Okay. Is that expensive?
Yeah, we legit would have to win every single game, right? And that's why Max Brosmer.
Still would be a question.
Max Brosmer. But that's the one thing. That's what's funny about this whole thing. And obviously, I think it's more than wishful thinking for Max Brosmer to come in and be Brock Purdy. I know that's what everybody wants, everybody thinks, and I hope I'm on that side of. I hope he comes in. I do agree with Casey where I think he's more pro ready than JJ McCarthy. That wasn't ever really that surprising to me that Max Brosmer was just going to be, I mean, he's 3 years older than JJ McCarthy. So I do think like you're going to come in and see definitely less mistakes. I think you're going to see some more accuracy. The thing with Max Brosmer that I just love and was super impressed is, one, his quick release is insane. I think his arm has looked better than most Gopher fans give him credit for, but I didn't watch him as a Gopher so far, as at least the accuracy side of things. And then just his ability to go through progression so quickly at his age in the NFL, because we did see him go up against the Titans first team. I mean, it's a fucking arguably the worst defense in the NFL, but that is what it is.
Well, yeah, but he had Jeffrey Simmons breathing down
still
a couple times.
Right. So I don't know. So I mean, there's that hope thing there. Obviously, if Brosmer comes in and things turn around, all it takes is literally 1 week for all of a sudden everybody's mind change. And that's the reason why I don't just jump on the fire everybody board that quickly, because technically Kevin O'Connell has had 2 other seasons that haven't been great. So that could have already, I don't know. I can't do that. I need to see more.
One other season.
Or one other season.
Yeah.
Right? It's been every other year.
Yeah, every other year we've won. 13.
And this is the 4th year. Yeah. Is this his 4th year?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is 4th year. Yeah. So that one season, he obviously gave him the excuses, But all it takes is Max Brosmer to come in, look good, and people feel better about the whole situation. So it's hard. That's why I can't I don't know. I don't come in here and just be like, fire everybody. Everything's gone to shit. Obviously, it's not going the way we want, but a lot of that comes down to the quarterback. Crazy thing is fair.
Yeah. But after a season like this, someone does need to lose a job.
Right. And
that starts with special teams. Who look, Matt Daniels, I've been calling for his head for a few weeks now. I didn't think he was all that great last year. When this offense started to go off the rails was when the defense goes out, starts the second half, gets a huge stop, and then the 3rd week in a row, we have a special teams error that puts us in an awful spot. Miles Price didn't even know where the ball was. Look, Miles Price, you got to give him credit for how good this year he's been at returning, but the issues we saw in the preseason started to pop up a little bit, and that was just embarrassing. I mean, and then they score, you're down 11, and that threw the entire game out of whack. But it's 3 weeks in a row where special teams has put this team behind the 8 ball massively. So I'm ready for Matt Daniels to be gone. I'm not going to give him a ton of credit for the kicker at all. Great, you're a special teams coordinator. Coordinate your special teams. And these guys look lost out there. All the penalties. I mean, you got Ivan Pace a few weeks ago, just moving a false start on a kickoff. I don't know. Special teams it's ridiculous. I think PFF wise it's ranked pretty good, but that'll happen when you have a kicker that's nailing the ball. But outside of that, special teams and a few nice Miles Price returns. Outside of that's been disappointing.
Just all the errors in general. There's been if you had a special team and you said, hey, your punt returner for the most part, at least when he gets it or whatever, doesn't make mistakes. He has been our best punt returner that we've had, at least from a standpoint of actually his job of catching it and then running with the football has been good. And then obviously if your kickers is nails, you're feeling usually pretty good about your special teams, but the errors have been just ridiculous. I do think this part, I do want to answer this real quick because it's easy. It's already happened. I think JJ McCarthy being in the spot where he is at right now was my biggest fear for this season, and the rest of the season would have been him not progressing. But at this point, it's just even that feels like a tough ask to be my expectations aren't him progressing anymore. So I don't know. I feel like we'll know a lot more after this week, especially if Brosmer's in there, and kind of see how he does. But I guess my biggest fear for the rest of the season, I guess, is to leave this season completely having zero idea what our quarterback situation is going to. And I've said this a million times, and I'll say it again. To me, everything the Kwesi and people keep talking about, they haven't won a playoff game, everything Kwesi and all the decisions they have made outside of the first couple years with Kirk Cousins was all based around these next 2 years. And I think my biggest fear, and I do think it should be most Viking fans' biggest fear, is for the Vikings to not have the team that we all hope for these next 2 years, because that is we've built a team that had the talent to contend. And if these next 2 years don't work out for us, I think we're back into another stretch of mediocrity. We're talking about, I don't know, real mediocrity, bottom of the league mediocrity.
That's not mediocrity then. That's
below mediocrity. But I mean, we're talking about the standards and stuff. And I'm the hard thing is if you fire Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi, I do think I think things are going to get blown up. I have a hard time believing you're just going to go get some other guy that's going to come in and just do way better with this roster and things like that. Like in my mind, I'm like, you have to let them go through these 2 years and fail, because no matter what, we're just going to end up in the same spot anyways, in my opinion.
Yeah. Hey, we're not words majors here. Okay.
Mediocrity.
Yeah.
Mediocrity.
Yeah. Football. It really is. Like we could be the Jets.
But that's
But I mean, either way, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, it's frustrating. I mean, that's,
the fact is the matter is Jamie's shit going to get blown up. This team's going to be in the mud for about 4 or 5 years. But that's the thing, is like, I don't, like, you believe that. I do not see it like that yet. It's crazy. Like, this year to me was out. It can be like that if we leave this year and the quarterback situation is completely fucked, and we go into next year and we don't even have a body to put in there to help, I think we're fucked. But we have so much talent still, whether you think it or not, for the next 2 years. All the contracts are built around that.
But this would not surprise me if Kwesi's gone. Like, look, I think Kevin O'Connell buys himself another year, whether you agree or not. I just think that's the case. But if I could definitely see, I could definitely see Kwesi being let go this offseason. So we'll see.
Yeah. So but that's the hard part. I know I've never looked myself, but everybody keeps saying, like, if the GM goes, the head coach goes.
Not always. Not necessarily.
No, that's what I just saw. I never looked
a lot of
into
GMs,
it myself,
GMs do like to come in and hire their own head coach.
Right.
But I do think that there's going to be a GM out there who knows how to draft, who would look at this team and be like, hey, I know, because look, Kevin O'Connell, if he gets fired, he will be the first head coach picked up in the hiring cycle.
Yeah, even if people disagree, he will.
He'll be one of the first coaches.
He probably will be the first one.
Yeah, but no doubt in my mind. So I think there could be a GM out there who's like, hey, I know they got a good coach. I know they have a talented roster. I think I can come and fix it. Obviously, that's questions for later. But one thing Kwesi did do well, and Darren's going to love this one. Yeah. He did hit on what some people say this is his best draft pick, and it is. Will Reichard, probably the MVP of the Vikings this year. I believe they said first kicker to have 4 59-plus yard field goals in one season. Continues just to be absolute nails. Yeah, man, Will Reichard, absolute stud.
Dude, monster. Crazy hit on that one, but yeah, broke the second longest field goal in Lambeau history. So these are the positives. Just moving on. Obviously, the season isn't how we want it to go. I'm not on board with thinking that like the Vikings are complete. Like, we might as well just start rebuilding next year. That's fucking wild to me, with the talent still on this team and the amount of draft picks we have next year. I'm not going to say that in midpoint of the season, but obviously this season is shitty, whatever, but we should talk about the things that could go good this season, I guess. But seeing the Will the Thrill, another guy that was getting completely trashed through the offseason, come up and prove definitely a lot of people wrong, and has just been nails all season long. And I know there's a couple other guys that we got to talk about here, but Will the Thrill, dude, stud. Young Smokey, get rid of, what is it, Alfredo Menzi, whatever the hell his name is, dumbass football mind. That's chat can literally be better.
Oh, that's funny, man. That's funny. That's what some teams should do. Get a chat of all the players, or all like a bunch of fan bases or a bunch of like podcasts and fans and stuff, and have them all vote on who they should draft. That would be fun. Yeah, I know.
I mean, I think, dude, there's definitely some draft picks. If it was a fan base, because we've seen some that like the players that fans most likely would have wanted at a certain spot, I do think we would have made some good choices in comparison to Kwesi.
Yeah, and that, like, look, that could have very well. I mean, the extension doesn't say that. That very well could have been bring him in here, have him reset the salary cap, and then just be like, okay, thank you.
Saving money is cool. All right, who I would draft, man, would be hell of a lot. Yeah, well, it'd be interesting. Obviously, I think pretty much any of us, especially if we knew we were going to draft a safety anyways, I think all of us would have picked Hamilton at that point. Like, he was a steal at that point. So we would have not fucked up that very first one. And that's already enough on that. Bro's been, I'm sorry for off jokes, but just pissed about my Vikes. Love you, boys. And it's outlet for me to not be negative. Oh, no, we're good.
Absolutely, man.
Dude, this is a fucking shit season. It is what it is. This is not a season, again, that none of us expected. And I don't know. It just is. Stacked team. Would he be good on a different stacked team? Are you talking about JJ McCarthy? Probably. I don't JJ McCarthy. Not right now. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Or Winfield Jr. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff, and I do think it's going to be interesting. If we're completely trash, like it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But I do want to bring this up, just a little bit more positive here, because another pick that seems like he could be turning a corner. And that is Dallas Turner. Obviously, at this point, you still traded a lot to go get him, so he has a lot to prove still. But I mean, if he wouldn't have got that penalty on Lamar Jackson, he'd have 3 sacks in a row. Last week, I don't know what his PFF ended up being this past week, but he's continuing to flash. There's multiple times where you see him in the backfield. He got another sack. Dallas Turner definitely seems to have that potential that, there was a time where a lot of us were already ready to be like, I don't think he's going to be it either. We might see some more from him. And then as well as Jalen Redmond, just a fucking stud. I'm really happy that we have him, and that's a good guy to have moving forward here. But yeah, what's your thoughts on Dallas Turner and Jalen Redmond?
I mean, so far I think this would be the description. Solid starter, but not the blue chipper you drafted him to be. And again, I mean, I know people hate to hear this because we said it with McCarthy so many times.
I know.
I mean, he's 22 years old.
Yeah,
and they're trying to turn him in. Like, I know he kind of just played straight pass rusher, but they're kind of turning him into a prototype, almost like Andrew Van Ginkel, where they want him to do a lot of different things other than just rush the passer. But yeah, at this point, he hasn't been that great yet. And he might be turning that corner, but we do still need to see a little bit more from him before you can say he's worth the first round pick. But we're starting to see those flashes from a 22-year-old just freak athlete who is still developing. So
So there's still potential.
Yeah, positives to look at, but you can't sit here and say, oh yeah, he's a first round pick.
He's still a guy that isn't living up. And that's another thing too, is like, I don't know how often you see a 22-year-old, whether it's a quarterback or 21, we'll call it 21-year-old cornerback, pass rusher, another extremely technical position on defense. I don't know how often you see those guys come in the NFL and just look good right away, or whatever. But, I don't know. Some of that stuff does take time, but I think what you just said was a perfect description of it. Is we're starting to see some progress there, but he's definitely not at that spot where he's not just worth the pick we've picked him at, but definitely traded up. So we'll see what happens. If he keeps getting sacks, that would be great. So I think moving forward here, I think that's kind of like you want to see those young players kind of progress. And obviously Max Brosmer again. What you got here?
Jeez.
Jamie, you said shit season. It's because Casey's so pissed about our season taking blow up doll.
I really hope YouTube doesn't ban us for some of these contracts.
Hunter looked good a year after he was drafted. Hunter looked good a year after he was drafted, which he was really raw.
That's very true. Yeah,
it happens.
Picked the flash pretty early.
Yeah,
for sure.
It happens.
And then Redmond, of course. I mean, if you want to give Kwesi credit for one thing, I mean, that was quite the find. I mean, Jalen Redmond looks like the future of this defensive interior. Good against the run, great. I mean, it looks like he's had multiple plays where he gets through the line and he's standing there waiting for the running back to basically run right into him. And then he's also gotten after in the pass rush game as well. So yeah, Redmond looks like an absolute find as well. But
yeah,
that's about the only
positives.
The only pluses.
So of recent weeks, will the thrill turn? Because last week we had Turner and Redmond on here as well, as far as like talking points. And so I guess that's the positives. But I think moving forward here, it's, in my mind, the JJ McCarthy thing, it just feels like he needs to take a step back. I said I don't think he's just automatically a bust forever, whatever. I do feel like it's a good time for him to take a step back and learn some mechanics. In the meantime, I do think just time to put that hope into Max Brosmer and probably being a really unfair by doing it, and probably going to just, there's a good chance to end up in a similar situation as we are with that. But I do think just hope that you can leave this feeling like your quarterback position isn't completely fucked.
So are we kind of saying he's saying he's like the anti-Anthony Barr? Because remember, everyone said we're trying to use Anthony Barr too much as a linebacker instead of an edge rusher. So is Turner kind of like the anti of that?
Which we still never figured out Anthony Barr.
My jokes get you banned. I mean, I don't think so, but
I don't know.
You probably just shouldn't go tossing the word hooker around on here.
Hook her up the poop hole on here, you know?
yeah, maybe we'll leave. Maybe we'll
I don't
leave
know.
those.
It might not. They might not
leave those for the text chain. How about that? But yeah. Anyway, I guess moving on. We've already kind of gone over this season outlook, nail in the coffin. I mean, playoffs are dead. Look, Minnesota sports right now is kind of in a bad spot, right? Like,
I know.
Gophers had a terrible loss football on Sunday. Their basketball team's not looking good. The Timberwolves can't beat a winning team to save their lives.
Their choke hurt. Their choke hurt.
At least the Wild are good. Wild are 9-1-1 in the month of November, so that's cool. But outside of that, not great.
Yeah, not great. And just, I don't know.
This just adds to it.
Hey, Smokey, appreciate you, dude, for real. How do these dumbass Vikings win a must-win versus the Lions, but can't beat your paint your nails, Caleb Williams, Vikings? Yeah, I don't know. There's something I don't even know. It just kind of sucks too because I that's why I'm like I like Max Bros. He's for real the only guy that can save the season from a fan's.
But I'm done. I'm done thinking, a quarterback's going to come in and save the season.
I don't think that.
If Brosmer plays well and he's fun to watch and he can operate the offense,
right?
I'll feel a lot better.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot on that. Otherwise, the season just sucks. And it is like, draft picks, which I don't even know. Like now, obviously,
can we be excited about draft picks with Quasi?
Yeah, I know that's the hard part. I don't know. Just get Jared. That's why I don't pick some random. That's why I'm afraid to go out and just pick a cornerback that's the 12th best player. You pick him at 5. Go get a guy like Jeremiah Love. Go get the guy that you know is going to come in here and make an impact. You know.
I don't know. I still think this defense needs a lot more help than the offense does.
See, I don't know. I think if you gave, this is what I believe. If you gave me, Sam Darnold was on this team right now, I think this Vikings team is not nearly as bad as everybody's acting. I think, especially how what I've noticed on defense is, I think like vibes and just morale. Well, vibes. Yeah, fucking cringy word, but morale, just morale. I think that means a lot. Like if your team's sucking and your offense isn't moving because you're quarterback, I think your morale shot. I think our defense, their best games have also came back when the offense is also playing well. And I do think if you did have a better quarterback, I still think this team has enough talent for sure to be good. I think this team could definitely 100% be a playoff caliber, even a contending team, if your quarterback play was good. Like you still have all the talent. Obviously, there's a lot of mistakes out here, but I do think I think the morale is kind of fucked. I think that matters.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be I mean, no matter what happens the rest of this year, we're set up for an incredibly interesting offseason. But I don't know. If Sam Darnold chokes again, then the decision was great. And that's exactly it. Like that's the Sam Darnold talk, even the Daniel Jones talk. We could hold off on that till we get to the playoffs. Like if it's Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold in the Super Bowl, yeah, then we'll talk.
Needs to start cornerback and a safety of the arm tackle. Yeah, dude, 100%. And just going back to this is yeah, that's a hard part. Like there's nothing going to change my mind to thinking that this wasn't. I'm not the one understanding how good McCarthy is. I'm not the one back there watching him and understanding where he's at as a NFL quarterback or anything like that. But as far as like the Vikings taking a chance on a young quarterback, a top 10 quarterback, and then trying to build around a rookie contract instead of paying a veteran or whatever, I think that is a recipe for success. The problem is you need to hit on that fucking quarterback, and that's the gamble you're going to take, and that's the gamble it looks like there's a decent chance that we're losing.
Well, and how you choose to build a team around them needs to work too. And let's be honest, the offensive line, I mean, Will Fries, Ryan Kelly have not worked out the way you're paying them to play. I still think Donovan Jackson's got a bright future. And Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen have not done enough to prove that they're worth the money. So, like, again, if you're going to go that route of saving that money and spending it on free agents, those free agents need to hit. And none of them, right. I can't find one free agent we signed this last offseason other than Eric Wilson. Eric Wilson's the one.
Eric Wilson,
outside of him, I can't find.
And that was like the last second thing.
Yeah, I can't find one free agent that's hit.
I would say Isaiah Rodgers has probably been our best cornerback still.
But he's underperformed overall.
He's not. He's not feel like he's like a guy that I'm like, hey, I'm glad you're my cornerback 2 or 3, but you're not a bona fide cornerback 1 or
like we have like
that.
2 slot corners playing outside cornerback.
Right. So it's like,
And then,
yeah,
okay,
that's
then
like
another guy I'm gonna
that's
talk
a big
about.
problem.
Like, look, I would have been cool on letting Metellus walk out the door.
With the price
we
tag,
chose to bring him back. And again, I think due to kind of the lack of secondary help, I think he's been forced too much into having to play traditional safety. I'm over the Metellus stuff,
and I'm over the Byron Murphy.
Metellus is not a good safety,
bro. I'm so everyone's talking about Metellus, but nobody's talking about Byron Murphy enough, because you're paying this dude $20 million a year because he had 7 interceptions and he has 0 right now. He's been mid. He had like 4 good coverage games last year. You pay him $20 million, 7 interceptions, has none right now. He's supposed to be your cornerback 1, no questions asked, and that hasn't been the case either. So all that stuff is continuing to be bad too.
Yeah, and that just goes back to free agency signings and inability to draft is what it all comes down to. And honestly, like, draft a corner again. Like I said last week, I mean, do corners with recent history, do corners even want to be drafted here? Like,
that's that joke's crazy.
Not a joke.
But yeah,
it's a literal question. Like, it's a trend now, and
yeah. And that's what's crazy is Bynum. I was like, ooh, I don't want to pay Bynum that type of money. But at the same time, I didn't know that we're gonna pay. Like, at the time, like if you said straight up Bynum or Metellus, for about the same price, like you probably would go Bynum. Yeah. But then that's another annoying thing is how good that freaking that kid, the right or whatever for the Bears.
Yeah.
Like these
Deshaun,
people,
right?
Deshaun, yeah.
And then, I mean, this is 31 other teams in the league, or 31 other teams in the league, are dude, like,
that wasn't. I know that's I'm like, dude, if we had a 2nd round pick, that's another. The Will Johnson thing blows my fucking mind. And I know Nick is right there with us, but I couldn't. Yeah, Nashawn. Yeah, Nashawn Wright thing is wild. Like, of course, he's going off and just being a stud. And I know we've heard stuff about. I don't know how he's doing lately, but Mekhi Blackman, obviously Bynum continues to kind of, you'll see highlights of him here and there. So all that kind of stuff. But Will Johnson, that's another L. Obviously, every team, but I'm like, dude, you guys passed up. Like, dude, we've taken the amount of cornerbacks that we've taken that haven't proved shit, and you pass up guys who, was arguably the best coming out of college. And I mean, he wasn't. And now it looks like he definitely was the best because he had like a little foot injury or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
Ingram's still playing good.
Well,
I don't know what's going fucking on.
Well, and that's what makes you question the offensive line coach. Like,
yeah, a lot of things. Yeah. I don't know. We're just at a point where the season's fucking trash, and Max Brosmer just needs to be the next Brock Purdy, and we're good. Brock Brosmer needs to be the next Tom Brady, and we're all happy. It's easy as that.
No, we can't leave Gary hanging. I mean, schedule predicting. It's not worth doing that anymore. Now you owe a prediction draft spot and simple. Okay. What position do you want first round? I mean, I think we both kind of already talked about that. I want defensive back because I think it's.
I want
desperate. It's desperate time. This team needs help back there. We need, like Nick says, we need someone above 6 foot. We need someone taller than me to go out there and play corner. And to me, it's the biggest weakness on this team. It's just we don't have a guy that quarterbacks are afraid to throw at.
Yeah,
and you need that.
I think cornerback is the biggest need, but I am not out on getting an impactful player if they're there. I still think that there's a way where there's a best case scenario type of situation and you pull the trigger on that instead of reaching for a cornerback. So I'm not on let's
nail down what a reach is. Cause to me, picking the 14th ranked player at 10 is not a reach because of the way the draft falls, because a lot of players get pushed down because positions of need for other teams rise to the top. So
yeah, but it depends on who's there.
To me, a reach
is Micah Parsons there at 10?
To me, a reach is you took a 2nd round guy in the 1st round.
No, a reach to me is Micah Parsons there's at 10, but doesn't fit your position. So you pick the cornerback that's at 14. That's what I mean by a reach. It means that you picked a guy who most people think that will make a big impact on your team, but because he doesn't fit, like I know this cornerbacks and we need stuff. I'm not convinced that we can pick a cornerback in the draft and then they're going to come in and be a day 1 starting cornerback 1. So I do think we are more in a situation for best player available still, unless it could be a cornerback, and maybe there isn't a lot of options there. But I do think if there's a bona fide best player available and his talent wise is way better than a guy that fits what your draft need is, I still think we're right there.
But I mean, if you're sitting there with Micah Parsons type player and cornerback that's
what I'm saying.
12th, 13th rated guy, when you're sitting there at 10, you're still thinking like, okay, we can weigh those guys pretty similarly. Because I mean, Parsons isn't a need. That'd be great to get. But this cornerback is still really damn good first round talent. We need that more. So you take that.
Not every time. Not when Michael Parsons turns
not
into
every
Parsons.
time, but a lot of times you do.
I don't know. I don't feel that way. I know we need a cornerback. I don't feel we've drafted so many cornerbacks that have not done that good.
It wouldn't be drafting just for need. It would be drafting a player who's valued around your draft spot, and it also fits a need.
Yeah, as long as there isn't an absolute guy that you can't pass up, and they're going to make an impact on your team right now. We are in impact team.
Okay, so what do you do at corner? Go sign one? How's that work? Is that your option? What to do at corner?
That would be or draft one in the second round.
So okay,
you go and draft Will Lee from Oregon in the second round.
If you need an impactful day one corner, you're going to find that in the draft.
Well, because I'm not convinced that you're going to get one in the first round. Because I mean, from my experience as a Viking fan, that has not worked for us.
Right,
at all.
Right. But don't you have a better chance to get
better chance isn't as good as getting someone that you know is going to make an impact on your team?
Great, but then what happens? Well, okay, cool. He gets after the quarterback a couple times. What happens if they're still throwing and we can't defend somebody?
Well, hopefully the guy that we get in the second round, because it's not crazy to see a cornerback from the second round outperform a cornerback from the first round, or a third round cornerback outperform cornerbacks from.
Yeah, but it's also not crazy that a first round corner ends up being.
You don't see a lot of pass. I'm not even saying we need a pass rusher, but a lot of like the top pass rushers, top 10 pass rusher players usually are generally end up being better than, you might get a guy lucky in the third. I don't know. I think you'd go in this draft. I want a guy who I think is going to make an impact on this team immediately. And it could be a cornerback. Maybe I haven't looked that hard yet, but it could be a cornerback. There could be a cornerback in there that I think is good enough to do that. But I'm not passing up. I'm not picking a cornerback just because we need it if there's a guy that's obviously my example is Jeremiah Love. I think he could make an impact on this team that no cornerback could. And you could get a cornerback in the second round. And it doesn't even mean Will Johnson, again, was a second round pick last year.
Yeah, because he got injured. I don't know. I just don't. So, I don't know. I just think that there's going to be plenty, like Nick said, there's going to be plenty of corners you can take in the first round who can be high impact starters year one. And that is there's
going to be plenty probably.
And that fits a position of need. And you can probably find one valued around where you're going to be drafting.
Like this year, who's all the cornerbacks taken? Who's playing? I think which ones are playing good? I think that Harrison or whatever his name is actually is playing pretty solid.
Yeah. How's what's his name for the Broncos? The guy out of Texas?
What
was his name?
Fuck, I don't know.
Probably should have pulled this up before we started thinking.
Well, we didn't know we were doing.
Barron. Yes, Jahdae Barron.
Oh, Jahdae Barron.
Yeah. Solid, playing well. Yeah.
But that's the thing is I think there could be the Sutton or not Sutton. What's his name? Other corner, not Sutton, cornerback for Surtain. Yeah. If you have a Surtain there or a Sauce Gardner or something or even Mitchell, Quinton Mitchell or whatever, those are the guys where I'm but those guys are those guys you don't pass up because they're that good. But I don't want to reach for the Trey Waynes to
be fair, Trey Waynes was projected to be a first round talent that year.
Wasn't?
He was.
You're saying? Or he was.
He was.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm not saying that a first round talent, but I'm saying that there's guys that wasn't bona fide.
I just think your explanation or your description of a reach is off.
I don't think so. It just depends on who's there.
Taking a player at 10 who's valued at 14 is not a reach.
Not a super big reach. I think there's a scenario where it could be a reach if there's a player that you should definitely take that's on the board. Like 14 and 10, that's not really a reach, but I think there is scenarios where that can, if there's like other guys there that could make an impact on your team immediately, I think it can be a little bit of a reach. I mean, so 5th, 10th, it's just like, that's like 10 to 15 could potentially be, I don't know. I think it can definitely potentially be a reach. We see that shit happen all the time. Like, there's not a question in my mind that have I heard someone say, ooh, this guy's kind of a reach and he's ranked 16th and you picked him at 10. You can't tell me you've never heard someone call someone a reach after that.
Well, I mean, if they're projected at 6, I don't know. I think that's more or less when you hear people like, oh, he could have been taken at 24 and you took him at 12, or 25 and you took.
That's
him
like
at
a big reach. I think even 16 to 10
is like a guy that like.
Does anybody? What is everyone else thinking here? If you picked a guy at 10 and he was projected 16, do you think some people would call that at least a little bit of a reach, especially specifically if there's a guy there that like is no question you picked this dude at 10. You got Hamilton sitting there at 10, and instead you go pick, a Trey Waynes or something. Or
you pick Lewis Seen at 32. That's a reach. That was a reach, 100%. A guy that was valued as a second-round pick, you take him in the first. That's a reach.
But he was. What was he projected to go? Like 35 or something. So, like going from pick 32 to like pick 40. Hey, what's going on? What's going on, Riley? Love Little Buys being a North fan. Little Buys. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if Love's sitting there at 10 and you picked the 16th projected player because he's a cornerback, I'd be like, to me, I'm like, you had Love right there. He could make an impact right away. I feel like you reached to go pick a guy who was projected 16th. This ain't usually a guy at 16. He isn't the Surtain type dude. It's possible, but or the Jalen Ramseys, if a guy like that's there, which is definitely possible, that's different to me. But I don't know. I think if you pick at 10, 14, maybe not, but 16, even 16, I'm like, you pick a guy who's ranked 16 at 10, I feel like people would be like, oh, that was a little bit of a reach.
I don't know. And again, it all depends on how the draft board falls too, and who's where, and all.
We're just talking about the draft.
Yeah, that is where we're at.
This is crazy, but we'll get into that more. But I don't even know. There could be I haven't thought to look too much to see where guys are supposed to be landing. We could have had Hamilton. Hope you guys are doing well.
Yeah,
hey, bro,
we're trying.
Could have been. Could be better. We can't have nice things. You know that.
They need to hire Kevin Costner to do our draft.
I know, right? Even though that Browns team still, hey, Shedeur Sanders, we'll see. Because you get quality depth across the team and you are drafting a position. At times you reach because, and I don't think the Vikings need to do that. I think that you could still, not right now. I think that if there was a player that absolutely could impact your team, like a Love or something like that, unless, I don't know, I'm not reaching. Draft season is the best. JJ, Zach Wilson. What's going on, Soda? Yeah, it ain't looking good right now. It ain't looking good. But I still caught a range.
But obviously, we still have the rest of the season to get through before we can even start.
I wonder how Thor is doing these days. I don't know.
He's working for Score North now.
Yeah, he got a promotion.
Now he's in the background, not having to talk about.
See, that's all you got to do. You just got to pick a guy and just die on a hill for him. Give it a couple years, and you can. It don't even matter if he's good or not.
Yeah, right. But anyway, anything else from you?
Yeah, I'll check some guys. I'm not quite there. I need to see how Thor is hiding. I need to see how Max Brosmer plays before I'm ready to jump completely into draft season. You know what I'm saying? I still got a little bit of. I'm a hopeful guy. I got a little bit of hope. We'll see what happens. I'll be disappointed, I know, but hey, it's still early.
Yeah. But obviously, scheduling update for the rest of the week. We are going to take Thursday off. Let everybody.
Yes, Thanksgiving.
Take a couple days away from Vikings football. Not have to look forward to Sam Darnold playing against us. And everyone. Obviously Thanksgiving, so people are going to be busy. But we will be back next Monday, breaking down the
Max
Vikings
Brosmer's amazing performance and Sam Darnold melting against his former team.
But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you guys next time.
Just another shout out to our guy, Young Smokey, dude, coming in
absolutely.
here and hooking it up, bro. We appreciate you so much. You know that.
Absolutely. But anyway, thank you guys so much. See you next time.
Skull Vikes.